Another area of exploration for us is how we depict the world of work, how we draw pictures of it. In case you're not sure what I mean by that, of course, one picture that we draw of work is the org chart, and a tidy series of boxes, each person in no more than one place, each person reporting to no more than one other person. That's a picture of work, if you like. And I think many of us have long realized that it bears very little resemblance to how work actually gets done in an organization. Well, something like this picture is a very different picture of work. This comes from something that we call organizational network analysis. It's a field of organizational analysis that's been around for a little while now. Our intent is to bring this into the center of how we understand patterns of collaboration across our organization by sending lots of people a survey, asking them who they work with, asking them what value they get from those connections in the organization, and then based on their answers to that, using an algorithm to generate a picture like this. And this one happens to be a picture of the human resources organization at Cisco. So we can see those things, and then we can start to do some very interesting analysis and make some very interesting recommendations. A while ago, a leader left Cisco who had a particularly well-developed network. We knew this because we looked at the data. We were able to say to this person's successor, here are the relationships that this person was maintaining that are actually critical to the flow of information and the flow of work in this part of the world. So whether you rebuild these relationships or whether you find some other way to make the connection between here and here, those are things that are going to be very important to your role. So we can give individual leaders advice. We can also look for broader patterns of collaboration. If a large organization is made up of several subunits, are the right people talking to the right people? Are the right teams tightly located? Are the right teams spread across the organization? We can see, in short, much more than an org chart could ever tell us. And our principle in doing this, if you like, the thought behind it, is that the world of work is glorious and rich. And the challenge is not to push away that richness, not to say, well, that's all too untidy and too complicated, but rather to figure out a way of depicting it so that all of us can make decisions. Now, I said that this picture is generated from a survey. Of course, there's a problem with that, which is that whenever you want to refresh the picture, you have to redo the survey. And it takes a while to do a survey. And so, of course, the data is almost immediately out of date, and with every passing week, it's another week out of date. Our goal ultimately is to be able to create an analysis like this, create these pictures of the real world at work, not by doing a survey, but by looking at, if you like, the exhaust data that people generate while they're working. Look at their patterns of collaboration in digital tools, look at who they reach out to digitally, look at who they schedule meetings with. Not to pry inside those meetings, because that would make us feel very uncomfortable indeed, but just to see who are you talking to and how frequently, and maybe get some sense, if we can, through AI, of what the topics of those conversations might be. What are people calling on you to do? Who are you seen as an expert? What are you seen as an expert in your organization? If we can do that in a way that is dynamic, then we can make this picture available for every team leader and every organization leader at Cisco every day of the week. And that, I think, would be a 21st century version of an org chart, and probably a little bit more useful. Oh, sorry, that was chapter 8A, which is section 19, part B.